Hello everyone, and welcome to another day. So, um, as the title of the video suggests, it says, "Who holds the title Melchizedek?" Ever since I started making these videos, I have purposely tried to, stay away from certain areas of the truth. Not for want of me, you know, trying to keep the truth away from anyone. No, but I just felt that I need to build it up a bit. Why am I saying that? Okay, let's read something first. I'll be reading from 1 Corinthians chapter 2, okay, from verse 6. Paul says, "We do, however, speak a message of wisdom among the mature." I want you to take note of that word. He says, among the mature. We speak a message of wisdom. He says, but not the wisdom of this age, or of the rulers of this age who are nothing. He says, no, we speak of God's occult wisdom. That's God's secret wisdom, God's hidden wisdom. A wisdom that has been hidden and that God destined for our glory before time began. He says, none of the rulers of this age understood it, for if they had, they would not have crucified the Lord of glory. And let's skip. All of that is not very important, but let me go down to, it says, this is what we speak, okay, from verse 13. Not in words taught us by human wisdom, but in words taught by the Spirit. It is the Spirit who teaches us the words that we speak, okay? It says, expressing spiritual truths in spiritual words. Then he says, the man without the Spirit, the man that does not have the Spirit, he says he does not accept the things that come from the Spirit of God, for they are foolishness to him. Okay, he says, and he cannot understand them, for they are spiritually understood. Then he says, the spiritual man makes judgments about all things, but he himself is not subject to any man's judgment. He says, for who has known the mind of the Lord that he may instruct him? But we have the mind of Christ. Excuse me. What is Paul trying to say there? He's trying to help us understand something. He says we have the mind. We have the mind of Christ. The words we speak, they are wisdom, but only amongst the mature. For those who are not mature, the words we speak, they are foolishness. You understand? But then, like I always say, when they die and leave this world, that is when they will understand the words that we are saying now. But let me just go straight to the point. So, like I said, the title of the video is a question. Who holds the title Melchizedek? We live in a patriarchal society, let me put it that way, or that's how it's been, prior to this time. Now it's changing, everything is changing, it's evolving. And Abraham met Melchizedek in Genesis chapter 14 from verse 18 to 20. The Bible says that then Melchizedek brought forth bread and wine. Melchizedek offered Abraham bread and wine. And then he says, he, the priest of the Most High God. In King James Bible and all of this Bible, you will see it was written, he was the priest. That's not true. That's not in the original. The original says, he, the priest of the Most High God. It is used he, like I said, they lived in the patriarchal society. But then let's leave all of that. We'll get back to that. It says, he, the priest of the Most High, and blessed Abraham, saying, blessed be Abraham by God Most High, creator of heaven and earth. It says, and blessed be God Most High, who delivered your enemies into your hands. It says, and Abraham gave the tenth to Melchizedek, the tithe, right? And like I've said in one of the other videos of tithes and offering, even Levi, who Yahweh mandated to receive the tithe from the people, which was all a copy of the original in heaven anyway. Even Levi paid tithes in Abraham to Melchizedek, for Levi was still in the body of his ancestor when Melchizedek met Abraham. That's what's written in the book of Hebrews, chapter 7, okay, from verse 4 going down. And then chapter 7, verse 8 says, here on earth, men that die receive tithes, but there in heaven, it is Melchizedek who receives the tithe. Let me help you people understand something. The book I wrote, one of my books I published in 2017. It's titled The Command of Melchizedek. And that is based off Hebrews chapter 1, verse 6. That's the order of Melchizedek. That is the command of Melchizedek. When it says, let all the angels of God worship him, that was a command. And as soon as the word went forth from the lips of Melchizedek, it's a compelling command. In other words, as soon as it is spoken, every single angel that has been created by the Father, every single one of them must obey the Christ. And that is the reason why they obey us. Why? Because he is the head, we are the body. If they are to obey him, they are to obey us. That's what it is there. Okay, so, like I said, now we go to Hebrews. Okay, before we go to Hebrews, Psalm 110 verse 4, what does David say? He says, the Lord has sworn and will not change his mind. That was a prophecy that David gave of what was going to be said in heaven after the resurrection. So that word where it says that the Lord has sworn and will not change his mind, you are a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. You understand? So now David says that word, and then in the New Testament now we now have a better understanding. Hebrews chapter 5 says that once made perfect, he became the author of eternal salvation. Jesus became the author after his resurrection. He became the author of eternal salvation for all who obey him, or all humans now who obey him. He became the author of eternal salvation for us, and he was designated by God to be priest, to be high priest after the order of Melchizedek. You know, it's beautiful, but let's just go on. I don't want to digress. I was going to say something else. Now, in chapter 7, we are now told who this person is. When it says in chapter 5, he became designated by God to be high priest after the order of Melchizedek. It says, about whom we have so many things to say. Concerning Melchizedek, we have too many things to say. It says, but it is hard to explain to you. It's difficult to explain it to you. It says, for though by now you ought to be teachers, you have need to be taught again the basic principles of the oracles of Christ. It says, you need milk, not solid food. You won't believe it that I still have preachers who message me and they've still not been able to comprehend. I don't know, I'm speaking English. And that's the only language I know. I don't even know all the local languages from my country where I'm from. I don't know any local language. It's only English I speak. I'm speaking English. Or maybe I'll go and learn French and put it out there in French. Maybe it will help people understand better. But I understand that the thought is too lofty for some people, for some minds. And it is only the Spirit that can actually help you understand what I'm saying. And if you've understood it, then it is because the Spirit has given you the proper understanding of what it is that we say. Because we could say these words. What does Paul say? He says it is foolishness to the man without the Spirit. Everything we are talking about is foolishness. Yeah, to the man without the Spirit. Every single thing we are speaking is foolishness to him. And he cannot understand it because it is spiritually understood. Okay, so I was saying in my book I published in 2017 titled The Command of Melchizedek. You can always Google that up. The Command of Melchizedek by Daniel Oyegun. You'll find it there. In that book, chapter 2 of that book is titled The Mother, Heaven's Best Kept Secrets. That's what chapter 2 of that book is titled. So I don't want to have you guys ignorant anymore, because I believe that if you've watched our videos enough, by now you will understand the context in which we speak. Okay? And like I said, it is not in word only. Like that's why I keep saying you have to start learning to practice your command over the spirits. It's beautiful. Let me explain something to you guys. See, as I speak to you, I am not alone. The Spirit of truth, the Ghost of truth is with me, just as he is with you watching this. Don't let the illusion of this world blind you. I'm trying to open your eyes, and you can only see it by faith. He says the just shall live by faith. That's what he says. What does Paul say in Romans chapter 1? He says, I am not ashamed of the gospel of Christ. I'm not ashamed of this gospel that we speak. He says, for in it the power of God is revealed unto salvation. Paul writes to the Jew first and also to the Greek. I don't know who told him that, but it doesn't matter. You understand? He says, in it the righteousness of God is revealed from faith to faith, as it is written, the just shall live by faith. Hebrews chapter 11 verse 1 says something. Faith is the substance of things hoped for. The substance of things hoped for. And it is the evidence of things not seen. So these things I'm speaking to you about, it is the evidence of faith. Because they are not seen with human eyes. We can only perceive them. So Paul says now we see darkly through a glass. In some translations, you will find it written like, now we see darkly through a mirror. You can't see through a mirror. A mirror reflects back to you what you are. That's what it is. What Paul meant when he said, now we see darkly through a glass, it's like looking through a crystal ball. That's what he meant when he says, now we see darkly through a glass. It's like we are looking into a crystal ball to see the truth beyond what the human eyes can see. That's what he meant when he says, now we see darkly through a glass. But when we leave this body, we will see everything clearly. Now, what am I trying to say? I've told you guys before that the Father, the Mother, the priest, Jesus, the elders, and that's the cadre. After the elders, then the chief princes, one of whom is Michael. Gabriel is not a chief prince, he's a messenger for the Father and all of that. But I want to tell you guys now today so that you now understand the truths. Okay? I have to open it. I don't want to keep you guys ignorant anymore. So that you understand the truths that we live in, the truth, the life that we've been called into. This is the hierarchy. The Father is king, okay? And he is the most high God. He is the highest God. The priest, the one who holds the title, the priest of the most high God, is the mother. And that title is what is referred to as Melchizedek. That is the title of the mother. It is written King of Righteousness, but if you go into the root word and then you go and study, it actually means ruler of righteousness, the enforcer of righteousness, the ruler of Salem. Yes, why? Because the Father is the king, and she is the queen. And like I've said, I've read it to you guys before in one of the other videos. You can read in Jeremiah chapter 45. You see Yahweh complaining through Jeremiah to the people. Oh, stop worshiping the Queen of Heaven. Stop worshiping the Queen of Heaven. And the people say, no, we will continue to worship the Queen of Heaven. That's the truth. It is written there. You can go and study it on your own in Jeremiah. I don't want to read it, but maybe I should just read it. I don't want to. That's why I'm giving you the references where to find it, so that you can actually go and study. Because I want you guys to study on your own. Don't just take the words that we speak. When we speak, go and research. Well, where are you? You should be in Jeremiah 45. Okay, it's in 44. Let's read Jeremiah 44. Let's read from verse 15. It says, then all the men who knew that their wives were burning incense to other gods, along with all the women who were present, a large assembly, and all the people living in Lower and Upper Egypt, said to Jeremiah, we will not listen to the message you have spoken to us in the name of the Lord. That's in the name of Yahweh. We will not listen to that message. Okay? It says, we will certainly do everything we said we would. We will burn incense to the Queen of Heaven, and will pour out drink offerings to her, just as we and our fathers, our kings and our officials did in towns of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem. He says, at that time we had plenty of food and were well off, and suffered no harm. He says, but ever since we stopped burning incense to the Queen of Heaven and pouring out drink offerings to her, we have had nothing and have been perishing by sword and famine. The women added, when we burned incense to the Queen of Heaven and poured out drink offerings to her, did not our husbands know we were making cakes like her image and pouring out drink offerings and all of that? Jeremiah is complaining. Yahweh complained through Jeremiah and to the word. What am I trying to say? My point in reading this, I'm not asking you to go and burn incense. We don't need all of that. The sacrifice is Jesus, and that sacrifice once and for all. That's the truth. So we don't need to do any of all that rubbish. Now, Yahweh himself is complaining about the Queen of Heaven. It is that Queen of Heaven that I am introducing to you. And Jesus is the Son of the Father and the Mother. Jesus is the Son of the King and the Queen. That is why Jesus today is the Prince of Peace. I just thought I'll make it play. All these things I'm saying, like I said, I published it in 2017. It's in my book there, in chapter 2 of my book. I believe you can always, if you Google the book, there are chapters that you can actually access online. You can always read it there, find it there. Chapter 2 of the book, The Mother, Heaven's Best Kept Secrets. That's what is written there. You understand? So when I keep speaking, Jesus came speaking to us about the Father. He said, I have so much more to tell you, but you cannot bear it now. You cannot understand it. He says, but when he, the Spirit of truth, comes, he will lead you into all truth. He shall not speak on his own, but whatsoever he hears, that shall he speak. Why am I telling you guys this thing? Like I said, it's a duty that's been given to me. That's why I make these videos. Else, I prefer to just live my life, a quiet life, and everybody do whatever you want to do. Hold whatever doctrine you want. I don't care. But the fact is that I've been given a duty, and I am duty bound to carry it out. So I have to put these words out there. I have to educate you people so that you know that you have a family. When Paul says, for this cause I bow my knees before the Father in heaven, after whom the whole household in heaven and on earth is named. Paul understood it is a household. That's the truth. So the father is king, okay? The mother is queen, and her title as queen is Melchizedek. What does it say? In the book of Psalms, Psalm 110. What does it say? The Lord said unto my Lord, sit at my right hand until I make your enemies a footstool for your feet. Jesus is seated at the right hand today. It is conditional. Why? Because that right hand belongs to Melchizedek. That right hand belongs to the queen. That right hand belongs to the mother. So the father says, sit here until. Sit here only until this time. So Jesus sitting at the right hand as the prince is conditional because the mother gave up. That is a sacrifice that the mother has done for us. Our salvation today is possible because of her meeting with Abraham and entering that covenant with Abraham. I was speaking with someone, a pastor. He calls himself an evangelist. He's a friend anyway, and he still cannot comprehend this. And I'm like, I said, do you think our God? You think our God is too small that He has to appear in a burning bush to get the attention of a man? What are we talking about? We are not stupid people. Yahweh is the devil. That guy who appeared to Moses, that in the burning bush, that is the devil. Our God is too much to say He wants to come and appear as a burning bush to appear to a man. No, instead our God will come in the form of humans like us and talk to us. And that has already been done. My dear, you people, I'm telling you, I pray that God will help you people understand. I just thought, because the Spirit has been nudging me, I shouldn't keep you guys ignorant. So I just thought I should let you know. So like I said, Jesus is seated at the right hand of the Father. That is the mother's place. He's sitting there. It's conditional. It is written, sit at my right hand until I make your enemies a footstool for your feet. Once the enemy, the last enemy to be destroyed is death. Once the enemies have become a footstool for his feet, he must give up the right hand for the mother. Why? Because it is her place that he has taken in order to bring salvation for us. That is the sacrifice of Melchizedek. That is the sacrifice that the mother has done for us to have the salvation that we have today. That's the truth. So I don't want you guys ignorant. We have a full family. We have a complete family in heaven. A king and a queen, a father and a mother. We were made in their image. Let us make man in our image. That's it. The father and the mother. Let us make man in our image. Later we'll make them in our likeness. Isaiah chapter 9, it says, to us a child has been born. To us a son has been given. It says, and the government shall be upon his shoulders. That's why he's seated at the right hand today. It says, the government shall be upon his shoulder, and he shall be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. That is the family that we come from. That is the God that we know. That's the God that we worship. Me personally, I don't really care what anybody thinks out there. The preachers can keep preaching all the things they are. When we all leave this world, we will understand the truth. But as long as you start to practice your command now, that is what you will take with. That's what you live with when you leave this world. Like I said, I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there and then go and still be a slave. And then an angel is going to be commanding me. No, because we've been given authority over them. But a child